So let's rest for a second under this tree and think about snakes. I've got a spot where I have a rattlesnake living, and I got to get rid of it. I saw its nose poking out the other day, and I thought maybe my friend had blocked up its entryway, but I didn't recall correctly where the entryway was. It's still open. So there's at least one snake in there, and snakes probably don't always live alone because they want, Mrs. and Mr. Snake to be together, make little eggs. They lay eggs like chickens, except that they're snakes. And it would be really fun to raise those. Maybe not necessarily that one because it's a rattlesnake, and there are other snakes around, some of whom might be endangered, or some of whom might make good pets. I don't know. I'm not a snake expert. But I like the idea of raising some snakes. I like the idea of making a protected snake location with a greenhouse over it, with water that has a little pool within it. I don't know, how often snakes drink or how that works out for them. But, make sure they're in a really comfortable snake habitat that's big enough for them to not even know they're in a cage. Next to it, raise mice, small mice, also in a place where they can't escape and they're protected. And then those mice could have, once they're old enough, there could be like a place they can climb up and go through a tube. We could put a trail camera on it and have a little solar power to power the camera. We could actually record how many mice go across it into the other location. And maybe we have a little door on that to allow them to go into the other space or not. Of course, any mouse that was adventurous enough to go into the other space might not be coming back, but that's how we would feed the snakes. And we can have, traps to capture rodents as well and just dump them in with the snakes because I don't want any more rodents in houses. I don't know, but that sounds really fun. It would be a snake zoo in a sense. And there could be like a very well protected big window thing where people can sit and watch the snakes, stand and watch the snakes, sit and watch the snakes, see some snake behavior. We could have a webcam broadcasting Snake Land live. I don't know. And I'm not even into snakes, but they do play an important part in the ecosystem. And I guess I would rather raise any native snakes that we can find that also make good pets. Because if they overpopulate, which they might because we'd be giving them a really good spot to be, then we could sell some as pets or have them ourselves as pets. Having a snake as a pet seems a little weird, but, they're cool. There was a movie Dusk Till Dawn, and Hayek. What's her name? Anyway, Dusk Till Dawn was a weird ass movie because it starts out normal and then everything just hits the fan. Selma Hayek. Selma Hayek does a really sexy dance in it, and I think she has a snake. So I don't know. I don't know about the idea of keeping snakes as pets, but even those snakes, if you did keep them as a pet, they could be kept not in a terrarium, but they could be kept in a bigger area. And of course, if they're not the kind of snakes to bite you, then people could actually walk in there and play with the snakes. We could have highly socialized snakes that have a big area to be in, and that might be kind of cool. And then if they're native snakes, we could raise too many and release them into the wild. I don't know if there's endangered snakes or not, but climate has changed. There's less water in the hills. And so we could actually be doing wildlife restoration by also having an economic motivation and an amusement motivation, because snakes are kind of cool, to protect and enhance the snakes in this environment. Sounds like a good idea.